Every now and then there are milestones in transitions worth noting, and one of them is about to take place, the departure of Jay Leno from The Tonight Show. According to a recent poll, Leno is one of the 5 most popular people on television, and soon he will no longer be on it. It's part of a demographic shift that is beginning to affect millions of baby boomers being pushed aside to make way for a younger generation. The inevitable changing of the guard that also reflects a change in tastes, sensibilities, and values. As one of the country's most influential comedians, Leno has been part of the national conversation during 4 presidencies and a central figure in one of the most bizarre television debacles of the past 20 years. In 1992, we did our first interview with him when he was about to take over The Tonight Show. Last month, we sat down again with Jay and Mavis Leno, his wife of 33 years, to talk about everything that's happened, what Jay wants to do next, and his current state of mind.
The story will continue in a moment.
I always tell new people in show business, I say, look, show business pays you a lot of money because eventually you're going to get screwed. And when you get screwed, you will have this pile of money off to the side. Are you ready? And they go, okay, you ready? You ready? I got screwed. Oh, you got the pile of money? Yeah, all right, fine. I mean, that's the way it works. I mean, you know, that's the way these things are. That's the way it happens.
And no one knows it better than Jay Leno.
And now, Jay Leno.
He's been in show business for more than 40 years, earned hundreds of millions of dollars, and is more than familiar with getting screwed. He almost never complains about it unless it's in the form of a joke.
So a couple weeks ago, President Obama called me, told me personally, if I like my current job, I can keep my current job. Well, and I believe it. Yeah, I believe it.
In 11 days, Jay Leno will surrender The Tonight Show he inherited from Johnny Carson 22 years ago. Like Carson, he goes out on top, though not under circumstances of his choosing. But he survived in a cutthroat business largely on his own wits and talent.
It's just you, right? You don't have an agent? You don't have a manager?
No, I don't have an agent or a manager. But you know, the thing is, I get the unfiltered truth this way. No one says to me, look, Leno sucks, he stinks, we want him out of here. Jay, they're very happy with you, but they want you to change. Well, I get it right from the horse's mouth, you know, and that's what I prefer.
Oh, did you paint that? Wow, look at that.
He's never been the critics' favorite, particularly in New York and Los Angeles, where some find him bland and unadventurous.
There's a controversy that won't go away, huh? This Duck Dynasty thing. And gays are very upset with Duck Dynasty. You know who's even more upset? Gay ducks. They are furious.
But neither has Leno gotten his due. He's always had a feel for the audience in the middle of the country and outside the major urban areas.
How did you do it?
Well, I think you're trying to appeal to the whole spectrum. If you look at the monologue, for every smart, insightful joke, there's a goofy joke, and a silly joke, and a fun joke, and then a clever joke. That's the trick. You try to have something for everybody.
And it's worked for you?
Seems to.
But there's been plenty of turbulence along the way.
Arr, I'm a pirate.
It began in 2004 when Conan O'Brien, Leno's young heir apparent, threatened to leave and go to Fox if NBC didn't promise to give him The Tonight Show. The network agreed to what it hoped would be an orderly succession plan, in which Conan would replace Leno in 2009. Leno was one of the last people to find out.
First time I got blindsided.
What did they tell you?
Oh, you're out. We got, you know, gonna go with this and Oh, okay. And okay.
You're out. You're fired. You got 4 more years.
Yeah, that was basically it, sure.
Did you ask them why they had decided to do this?
No.
You didn't?
No. I mean, why?
No. No, I don't mean like that. No, I mean like... No, I mean kind of like, okay, so why?
You know,
What's the logic behind this?
I don't want to see you anymore. Why? You know, she doesn't want to see you anymore, okay?
They didn't say that. They said, we don't want to see you after 4 more years.
Yeah, you're fired 4 years from right now. I mean, isn't it hilarious? I mean, it's what's more show busy than that? What's the funny? You're fired 4 years from now. Get out in 4 years.
But it wasn't funny for NBC 4 years later when it was time for Leno to go. He was still a strong #1 and very much in demand. Desperate to keep him from going to another network and saddled with disastrous primetime ratings, the network offered him a 10 o'clock time slot on its schedule.
Like people ask me, oh, what are you going to do after the last show? You're going to go on vacation, this kind of stuff. I'm going to be going to a secluded spot where no one can find me, NBC Primetime. That's what as most of you know, we're not really leaving. We're coming back at 10 o'clock in September. I'll admit, it's a gamble.
Right.
It's a gamble.
Right.
I'm betting everything that NBC will still be around in 3 months. That is not a given.
It's the Jay Leno Show.
Leno's 10 o'clock show tanked, and so did the ratings of The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien, which dropped out of first place. NBC panicked when the network's affiliates began clamoring for Leno's return to his 11:30 time slot, and NBC agreed.
I said, sure. I said at the time I was going to do a half hour, and I believe Conan was going to follow later. He didn't want to do that. He quit, and so they gave me the show back.
Were you surprised?
Stunned. Oh, all right. All right, fine. Yes, I said, really?
What was supposed to be an orderly transition instead turned into an unscripted reality show that played out every night on late-night television.
Hosting The Tonight Show has been the fulfillment of a lifelong dream for me. And I just want to say to the kids out there watching, you can do anything you want in life. Yeah, unless Jay Leno wants to do it too.
You were the bad guy. You were portrayed as being the bad guy.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that. But I never chose to answer any of those things or make fun of any of the other people involved. It's not my way. And you just go and you be a comedian, you do what you do.
I'm sorry, this is a subject I'm very, very angry about to this day.
Jay's wife, Mavis, was much more upset than her husband.
It made me angry because there was this perception that for some reason Jay had decided to give up the show. It was like he gave the show to Conan and then he took it back. That was not what happened, okay? That was not what happened.
There were a lot of people that felt you should have a lot of people, including Conan,
Yeah.
felt that you should have gone off to ABC or to Fox or someplace else.
Well, you know
and
something, NBC is my home. Don't forget, back in 2004, I went into work one day and, hey, you lost the show. What? So suddenly it was taken from me, and then they said, we want to give it back to you. I said, fine.
Did you try and talk NBC into getting rid of Conan so you could come back?
No, never. I never in my wildest dreams thought that would happen. Never. It never occurred to me that they asked me to come back. I thought he would do fine.
There's no place like home.
On March 1st, 2010, Jay Leno was back behind the desk at The Tonight Show and almost immediately back in first place.
Well, health officials are now warning that pot smoking can cause apathy. In fact, a recent poll shows that most pot smokers couldn't care less.
Today, 4 years later, The Tonight Show is still #1 in a crowded, highly competitive field that includes his chief rival, David Letterman, Jimmy Kimmel, Conan, and Stephen Colbert. And once again, NBC is pushing Leno out in favor of a younger talent, this time Jimmy Fallon.
You would have liked to stay.
It's not my decision. And I think I probably would have stayed if we didn't have an extremely qualified young guy ready to jump in. If they said, look, you're fired, we don't know who we're going to get, we don't know what we're going to put in there, but anybody but you, we just want you out of... I would be hurt and offended. But this makes perfect sense to me. I understand this.
You would have preferred to stay.
Well, it's always nice to keep working. Sure it is. Sure it is. But am I extremely grateful? Yeah. Do I understand the circumstances? Yes, of course.
This is the part I don't understand. I mean, you're still number one.
I think because you have talented people only wait so long before they get other opportunities, and you don't want to lose that opportunity. That makes sense to me. And I thought Jimmy has been extremely gracious and polite.
You said all of the same things exactly about Conan.
Huh? Did I say the same things?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Well, maybe I did. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
Do you think you might get a call 2 years from now and say,
no,
you come back?
No, this is a lot different situation.
Boring auction and dinner set for Tuesday, maybe.
This time, Leno says he sees the handwriting on the wall. There is a generational and technological shift afoot with Twitter and social media that he's finding harder to relate to.
I get it. You know, Johnny was 66 when he left. I would be 64 when I leave. And that's about right. You know, I really like Jimmy Fallon. I think he's terrific. You know, when I see him do a dance number with, you know, Justin Timberlake or somebody, I go, I can't do that. I think after a while, you know, I'm not going to be that up on the latest Justin Bieber record when you're 64, you know, whatever it might be, so.
Do you know what Justin Bieber's latest song is?
No, I know you do, but I don't.
Do you get the sense, or do you have a feeling now that things are starting to wind down? Has it kind of like sunk in?
Oh, yeah, I knew a couple of years ago things were winding down. Sure. This is my second time doing this, so it's my second time winding down, so you get quite used to it, yeah. How about that snowstorm back here? Somebody got it. New England whiter than a Paula Deen Christmas.
The staff is already working on his latest farewell show, February 6th. But what everyone wants to know is, what is Jay Leno going to do with himself when all of this is over? He says he expects to spend more time with Mavis and puttering around his garages, which occupy 2 large hangars at the Burbank Airport and house one of the country's best collections of classic cars and motorcycles. Most of them have been restored by Leno and a small staff, and each car and motorcycle has its own unique story.
Do you drive any of these cars?
No, every car here is on the road. Every car here is licensed, and you can hop in and go for a ride in any one of them.
This battery-powered car goes back to the turn of the last century.
Wow.
Yeah, this is
Like a Tesla.
There were charging stations all over New York, 1907, 1908, 1909.
Leno does a weekly webcast out of the garage, and the day we were there, Tim Allen, another car-obsessed comedian, dropped by for the taping and a tour. I'd been there 22 years ago. It's still Leno's only known outside interest.
It's much bigger now. It's a much bigger garage. But are you doing anything else? I mean, have you, in the last 22 years, have you like branched out?
You mean like the symphony or something?
There's been no emotional growth? Is that what you're telling me?
No emotional growth? How do you mean? In what terms?
I mean,
look at the time. Maybe I'll step over here.
You haven't branched out? You haven't like wanted to do new things with your time, with your life?
Well, each project is a new thing. I mean, it depends.
This is getting uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means.
Grand as all of this is, no one really believes it's going to fill the void left by The Tonight Show. And Leno acknowledges that there are no shortage of opportunities for him.
You're a workaholic. What are you going to do?
I don't know what I'll do. Will I do another late night show to go against any of these people? No. No. You can't recreate what we had at The Tonight Show. That was a 22-year moment in time that was fantastic, and I loved it. Would I like to do things with, I don't know, History Channel? Yeah, I think that would be fun to do.
So you're going to the History Channel? Can we go with that?
No, I'm not going to the History Channel. But I really like being a comedian. I mean, I like going on the road. It's really fun making people laugh.
Hello. His first gig is February 7th in Florida, the day after his swan song. Last year, Leno says he did more than 100 stand-up performances in addition to his Tonight Show duties, and that doesn't include his regular gig at the Hermosa Beach Comedy and Magic Club.
I've been here every Sunday night since 1978, so it's probably safe to assume this will continue. You know, this club is good because...
You have a contract?
No, it's no contract. It's a real audience to test what works in a real situation. Oh, I'm on right now. What's more fun? And when it's successful, it's very rewarding. There really is no greater satisfaction than the adulation or respect of other human beings. How's the crowd?
Good crowd.
Good crowd. I get that every day. Every day someone goes, well, thank you very much. Well, thank you. Most people don't get that in their jobs, you know? Every day I walk out and I get that in my job. And it's very rewarding, and I don't take it for granted, and it's a lot of fun.
Here he is right now, Mr. Jay Leno, everybody. Jay Leno!
Steve Kroft was there at the beginning and the end of Jay Leno's Tonight Show career. Has Leno changed? Go to 60minutesovertime.com. Sponsored by Lyrica.